Okay, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Bail hearing on after non-guilty RICO and sex trafficking charges. Big deal happening right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome. I think we should actually have some notifications this time. Let me know. Let me know if you actually got a notification. Big time, big day for Diddy. People outside celebrating, spraying baby oil on each other. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so in the courtroom, let's switch it up. Let's get the live scene here. What's up, everybody? So, prosecution versus Sean Combs, day 35, bail hearing after not guilty. And it says they're in the courtroom. Combs' lawyers, Brian Steele and Jason Driscoll, are patting each other in the back. Agnifilo is in the holding cell with Combs. His family is the second row of the gallery. So everything's starting to get set up. Big day, big news. You got notification. Thanks.
Have
hold on, this is good.
We begin the kinks in live television for you right here, live streaming anywhere. And if you have any questions, you can put them up because we do have an attorney present that we can. Just a minute. Let's take a look. Let's take a live look at the outside of the courthouse. You can see the NYPD there for 1 second while we fix the audio.
Okay. All right, so we're just waiting for the updates. If you guys could help me out with the like button, I appreciate that. Subscribe to my mailing list. Hopefully it's working properly now. I was having some issues. I thought I fixed it. I had to disable some stuff. Sign up to the mailing list if you haven't done so already. When I don't have notifications, you'll get a notification. It's going to be setting up outside. Look at this. Judge to decide soon. Major breaking news. And also make sure you subscribe to iCkEdMeL clips because I just posted a video. Hello? I'm streaming right now. Yeah. I know.
Here we are live outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan.
Outside the courthouse live. Boom. Big day, big news. We're all waiting. Thank you so much, Patrish. Thank you. Hope you guys are ready, man. I'm ready for whatever comes tonight. Had a very busy day. I still showed up to stream. Did a whole bunch of stuff. Even from the last stream. I did groceries, took a shower, made lunch, /dinner, whatever. Rolling. Yeah, that video on the iCkEdMeL clips is kind of interesting. It's from the last live, but I put some pieces together of the people partying and celebrating Diddy. Also, I'm gonna see where I post this tonight. Depends. Remember the explosion that we covered last night? That huge fireworks explosion. They're saying there's 7 people missing. 7 people missing. So I'm gonna update that later. We'll see how we do it. Last night that was really crazy. We were covering that whole explosion, the firework facility. That's insane. Okay, let's do a poll. I have no audio for some reason. So we got that set up right there. Diddy live room.
We begin with
what's going on?
How are you going to fill it in?
The lawyers are in the courtroom.
And you're looking at a live picture outside.
Family sat second row.
Hey, Rob. Did
Okay, 504, just a few minutes ago. Combs's lawyers, iCkEdMeL, Shapiro, and Tanya Garagos emerged from the holding cell, still waiting for Sean Combs to be brought into the courtroom by U.S. Marshals. Big moment, big moment. And look, Shapiro, that's the lawyer that Thug had. And they say he'd be 2 RICO cases. So we'll see what's going on. Let me launch all these other platforms.
is Diddy in?
Diddy has not been brought in yet, but iCkEdMeL, Shapiro, and Tenny are all there. They emerged from the holding cell. And
Hey guys, listen, I just stepped out the courthouse to give you an update. Diddy's bail hearing is going to be at 5 p.m., okay? So you guys hold tight. We'll go live about that. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys later on live. Just stepped out the courthouse to give you guys a tea. The bail conference has been moved to 5 p.m. Okay, I gotta get back into the courthouse. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
That's Tisha Tells. Got the dogs outside. Bring the dogs in.
We're following breaking news as we come on the air tonight. Sean Diddy Combs acquitted of the most serious charges against him. These are live pictures from the courthouse where we are now waiting to learn if he will be released from jail. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Natasha Verma.
And I'm Bianca Peters in for Steve. Diddy found guilty on 2 of the 5 counts that he was facing. They are the lesser offenses, so his defense team has asked for his release.
Diddy's bail hearing is scheduled to begin at any moment now. The judge asking both sides to submit letters arguing for and against his release.
Now, if Diddy is released from jail, he would likely be subject to specific conditions while awaiting sentencing, as his legal team has proposed a $1 million bond and travel restrictions as well.
And this morning, Diddy was found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of sex trafficking, but he was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. So that means he could still face prison time, but may be released while awaiting sentencing.
Also, right now, we are waiting for the judge's decision on that. So let's get right over to Lisa Evers, who's been outside the courthouse all morning long into this evening. Lisa, what are you hearing?
Well, Bianca, Natasha, just think about this. That verdict came out early this morning, and Sean Diddy Combs has been in a holding pen the entire day waiting for this whole issue to be resolved. Instead of resolving that bail question right after the verdict was read, the prosecutors asked for several more hours in order to try and put their position together, which their position being they want to keep Sean Diddy Combs behind bars, even though he was cleared of the 2 most serious charges in this case. But let's bring in right now criminal defense attorney and former Manhattan prosecutor Jeremy Sallin to get some understanding about this whole bail process that's going on right now. Jeremy, thank you so much for being with us. A little unusual for them to delay the bail hearing like this so many hours after the verdict?
There's nothing usual about this case. Everything about it's unusual, especially when you think about the magnitude.
By the way, still no updates. I'm waiting. No updates yet, pimpin'.
By the prosecution right at the knees, leaving him with a crime that does not mandate incarceration, though he's already been in for 10 months. And now it's a very fair question to ask. Bail Reform Act aside about keeping him in, why should he not get out when he's not facing mandatory incarceration?
But what at this point would you say the prosecution's or the prosecutor's main concerns are about if they let him out on bail?
I think there's an integrity check here. Do I really believe, or do they really believe, that he's a danger to the community at large, he's a danger to any particular people, that he's not going to return to court? That's a hard stretch, considering the man came down prior to being in charge. The man surrendered his passport. There's been no allegations since the accusations began that he's made any threats. And the bottom line is, all of those things he's accused him of in terms of violence, guess what? He was acquitted, not a conviction.
Right, and I think that's the thing that's so hard for us to understand. So one of the bail denials, there were several attempts to get him bail all the way through this process. The prosecution said, well, we're worried about him intimidating witnesses. But that would even be a point right now, because he was cleared of the sex trafficking and the RICO charges, right?
Yeah, I think it's a heavy lift, even more so than the RICO charge itself. The prosecution with a straight face say, this man is a danger to society, this man is a danger to any particular women, this man is a risk of flight. Absolutely not. And the evidence doesn't bear it out in terms of what he's been convicted of, and nor does the history of in terms of his compliance with returning to court or behaving and following the judge's instructions. I think they come up and barring exception, he should be held in.
And then in terms of the final decision, that should be the judge, right, that will make that decision based upon these letters that he's gotten, that Natasha and Bianca were talking about, from the prosecution and the defense.
Yeah, he's going to have to assess everything. The defense is saying, let's set $1 million. Combs will easily make that and be out. We can monitor him. We can regulate where he travels to in certain jurisdictions he can go. It can be done, and there's really no reason from a practical standpoint. And to be clear, he, faces up to 10 years in prison, theoretically consecutive. That's never going to happen to 20 years. We're talking potentially months and nominal years if he's ultimately sentenced to that.
For that, on the transportation for prostitution for charges. But then in terms of the conditions and that they would have to satisfy, there were other things that he had offered in the past that were turned down by the government. An ankle monitor bracelet, having 24-hour security watching him. What about that? Do you think there'll be special circumstances or conditions that maybe a regular prison, I shouldn't say regular, but another detainee with a similar conviction would be not asked
I think a regular detainee with a similar conviction would not have to have an ankle bracelet with 24/7 monitoring by security. Hand in your passport. The defense counsel already has that. Stay in certain venues, drug tests. Don't leave New York or Florida where you reside. Post bond if you need to, in terms of the $1 million, if that's what's being asked by the defense. Those are reasonable things to ask. Is he going to return to court? Yes. If you have evidence that he makes a threat, you put him back in.
And then you've tried many big cases. What role does his family presence have? It's been very strong, very consistent, especially this last final week. His mother's been there every single day. He said his 85-year-old mother, is one of the defense application, he needs to be the main caretaker for his 85-year-old mother, Mrs. Janice Combs, who's been here every single day, and also be a father to his 3-year-old baby daughter. And then we've seen the other kids, the grown kids in there, and other extended family members. What effect does that have on a judge in this kind of decision?
So family ties are critical to show community ties. Family ties are critical to show you're not going to flee and you're going to return to court. However, let's not overstate. I think the defense has to be careful. Well, if he's a primary caretaker, who's been taking care of him for the past 10 months? If he's a primary caretaker for a young child, obviously someone else has been doing it. Let's not overstate, but let's also be very clear. They showed their support. They came for him. They're available for him. They're going to ensure his return.
They offered one of the bail packages previously that was denied by the judge and by the court was $50 million. Do you think this is going to be, we're going to be in the 7 figures to 8 figures?
Assuming that the judge agrees to release him, it's either going to be release him, or subject to certain conditions, or it's going to be much, much more nominal in terms of what that dollar amount is. There's no reason, if it was that high or higher, when you're talking about violence.
Okay, let's check. See if we got any updates.
Just getting here. Heard on the radio news people out front of courthouse were pouring baby oil over themselves.
Yeah, I covered it. It's on the second page.
It's not RICO, it's FRICO. Is this true? LMFAO.
Yeah, I just covered that on the second page. That was crazy. They still haven't done an update. That's weird. What's going on in the courtroom? It's just nothing.
For his first night out after this verdict was released. Anyway, that's the latest here from federal court. Natasha and Bianca, back to you in the studio.
All right, Lisa, thank you so much. Keep watching Fox 5 for continuing coverage of this breaking Diddy verdict. We're going to have more legal analysis coming up.
Diddy. Oh, he found Diddy. Oh no, that we got already. Oh, here we go. We got a little update. I think. Okay, so he was brought in. This was a little bit ago, but Sean Combs has been brought in, sits next to Teddy Garagos reading. iCkEdMeL walks in to the lectern, then back over to his seat. Prosecutors are in place at the front table waiting for judge. Okay, just waiting on the judge now. Waiting on the judge. John Wolf, thank you for the 10. Yeah, that was crazy. Heard on another channel, it was postponed until 5 p.m. It is 5 p.m. It's 5. Everybody's waiting. Combs' family arriving at court ahead of the bail hearing. So scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern. There's a huge spectacle outside and a circus, CNN chief legal analyst says. Circus outside. Uh-oh. Who is outside the courthouse in New York as we wait for Combs' bail hearing to begin, told CNN Casey Hunt that some people are outside with a true celebratory spirit, while others are expressing discontent. They're shouting matches at times, she said, adding that this is a scene. Oh man, it's crazy, wild outside. Oh. Maybe we should see if we can pull it up. Okay. 1 minute ago, I've read the party submissions and others. The jury convicted the defendant of counts 3 and 5 for the following reasons. Bail is denied. Oh! Rapa-ting ping, rafa-ting pong. Oh! Oh! Damn, Big Diddy stuck. Woo! Riffa-ting ping, riffa-ting pong. Oh. Oh man, they ain't gonna be happy. They're gonna be pissed. Let me see. I want to see too if when they come outside, if they have something to say. There's microphones outside. Oh shit.
Sean Diddy Combs guilty only on the lesser of the charges, that there was a presumption that he might be able to go home. The judge even asked him at one point, I imagine you don't want to go back to...
Scraping for shit. I like that. Oh, damn. Well, it's not looking good, man. Diddy, they're going to keep him inside. Oh, yeah, let me check this other feed here real quick. Damn, denied. Bail is denied, citing conviction today on transportation for prostitution charges. Well, they have to do sentencing next on the crimes that he was convicted of, but he has to wait until he's sentenced, I guess. Damn.
held without bail. So this doesn't change the potential sentence, obviously, because it's still up to 10 years, but for the immediate gratification purposes of getting out, doing what he needs to do and fighting this from the outside in terms of preparing for that sentencing, now it's been stripped.
And let me just add, this morning the prosecution was very adamant about wanting to have this extra time to present their argument to the judge, and seemed obviously they were disappointed with the verdict. It was very visible and very obvious, but they wanted to keep him behind bars, and they said, Your Honor, we need some several hours to really get this whole argument together for you, and that's pretty stunning.
But again, I think you have to go back to what the law is and what it allows for, and generally speaking, barring some exception, the Bail Reform Act says you're staying, you're not just getting released. He was convicted of a crime. I think people, rightfully so, are disappointed and have questions from the public's perspective when you have such a horrific allegation that is not proven or substantiated beyond a reasonable doubt. And summarily, we're not talking about on the cusp. That's a pretty quick verdict that I think fooled many people, thinking that there might have been a sex trafficking conviction. He's walking scot-free in terms of any allegation of coercion, force, fraud, violence. But he's still in custody.
Okay, so Jeremy, what about? Can we just ask Jeremy? Was it a difficult decision for the judge legally?
I think the judge is I think the judge is not finding any exception and following the law, and that's why he's staying there. The hope from the prosecution, though they didn't, the defense, though they didn't raise it specifically in their letter to the court, was that yes, there may be the Bail Reform Act, and that was what the prosecution relied on. Said statutorily, you can't just let him walk. The prosecution was hoping, the defense was hoping that the judge would look past that and say, he's returned, he just shows that he can follow the court order, he's not going to flee, and he's not a danger to anyone specifically or the community at large.
And then let me ask you this, in terms of the appealing this decision, what's the process now that the defense will have to go through in order to appeal the judge's decision of no bail?
I would expect that he's not going anywhere anytime soon, appeal or not. I think that they're going to follow the judge. I haven't heard what the judge said, so it's hard for me to just speak on an island here, but based on the law as we know it, I think the judge has ample ground to stand on and make this decision.
Let me answer that. Our Sharon Crowley has been watching this and telling us right now the judge says that the government was correct that the detention is mandatory for a Mann Act conviction, what you're indicating, and the judge said that the limited exception to mandatory detention was not met. Sean Combs pointed to his duties as a father and a son, which we talked about, but that does not rise to the level of an appropriate exception, according to the judge.
Right. And to my point moments ago, that's what the law is, but we like to think that from the outside looking in, when someone has been charged with such egregious and horrible acts and a jury of your peers says no so quickly, there should be a means to say you should be free, but there still is a conviction. The Mann Act qualifies. He's in custody. Whether that's a sign of the judge saying I'm going to harshly sentence him or not, we can't say.
Maybe the judge is going to sentence him to the max. Listen, he got away. He embarrassed the government. Got embarrassed. The feds. And so maybe this is their way now of kind of, all right, or no, you kind of, Diddy was kind of celebrating in relief, but all right, no, we got you. You're not getting out, and wait till you get sentenced.
Oof. I look at this case, not to really go too far off, this really, especially when you hear this verdict, should likely never have been in that courthouse. If anything, it should have been in that courthouse, meaning 100 Center Street or something similar, in a state courthouse for domestic violence, for abuse, for things that physical abuse and assaultive behavior, those types of things. But now we're here, it is what it is, but I think the prosecution really got humbled whether or not the judge is keeping Sean Combs in.
No, 100%. So now tonight he'll be spending the night in MDC.
It's hotter in there than it is out here, certainly for him, but there is now a horizon. That sun is rising for him. There is an out, and I'd like to think, based on the evidence and based on the finding of that jury, that out will be reasonable. And the defense said maybe 20 to 24 months. The prosecution is saying at least 50 to 60 months, even more. Where the judge falls, I don't know, but there's freedom for a guy who's looking at life in prison, which is unbelievable, whether he's in jail tonight or not.
And you told us that there's no minimum with the conviction, the prostitution conviction.
Correct, but there are guidelines, and the judges generally follow those guidelines. There's ability to move along them and go up or down. But I think we have to look at what the evidence is and remember that the prosecution can still bring out in sentencing, though you could not do that in a state court, all of his other allegations and the evidence there that was not supported by the jurors who said not guilty, because it's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It's sentencing. It's not the same standard.
Right.
But do I think he's going to get 10 years? We've been wrong before. No, I do not. There is an out for him.
All right, and we'll continue watching this closely, and so that's it.
That's it for now. That's it for today.
Yeah, just to sum up, this has been a day of news on the Sean Diddy Combs case. First, the jury came back and rendered.
So I'm wondering, how do the, because there was people dancing outside, how do they feel now? Oh, Lord. Let me see, let me refresh this. There was people, Team Diddy's, they're not going to be happy now. Let me take a look. Any of these people online? A big crowd out there, big crowd. I want to know what the crowd's like right now out there. Oh, and if the attorneys are going to say something on the mic. The microphones are outside. Diddy!
The jury's decision, the jury's verdict. A bail is decided before the trial goes into play, right? And then they decide whether or not to hold a defendant in that case. That had already happened in this case. The decision was made to hold Sean Combs behind bars during the length of these court proceedings, and they're not over yet, right? That we have to get through sentencing for this to actually truly be over. So what Jeremy was explaining was it would have required an exception to the decision that he already made, and he said based on multiple factors that it doesn't rise to the level of granting an exception at this time. I don't know if I put that in English.
Arthur, thank you very much. Lisa as well, and Jeremy. We've got more breaking news coverage after this break.
Hood news, Diddy trial. Well, that's it, bros. I gotta find out when's the. Man, kind of curious. Let me listen to this. What the people out there are saying. What they're saying out there, man. How they going? Diddy.
It's not a big deal. It's a felony, yeah. But they can bring it. Yeah, that's a felony, but you know.
No.
So it's. On his behalf, must have interfered with people who were testifying against him. That gets you your bail denied because you're a threat. You're a threat to the people who testified against you.
Dean will not come back.
What?
Dean.
Oh no, he's done for tonight.
Oh, okay, cool. So I can.
Yeah, I can come on. I'll just show you what's happening.
Well, guys, you guys heard that there from my friend what he said, what he had to say, so you guys can have an idea.
Şöyle Trump mahkemesinde ona boşu boşuna verdim. Başkanın şeyini çekmedim biliyor musun? Ben aman çocuk çeksin genç kariyer. Never. Hep saldırdık öbür işlere. No. Hell no. Never. You crazy. And you know, always appreciate everything you support. You really oppose. I would never.
Damn, Team Diddy lost, man.
Yeah. So, no, never.
Team Diddy.
Of course, yeah. Never.
I guess I'll have to wait till sentencing then. How much time? Well, let's say here, each sentence, each carries up to 10 years with 2 counts. It's up to 20 years total. So will they give it consecutively or concurrent? They got him dirty. Federal sentencing guidelines. The prosecution is asking for 51 through 63 months. That's 45 years behind bars. Oh, that's it. Defense team argues that prison exposure could be as low as around 2 years if he's already been detained since September 2024. More realistic range, 4 to 5 years, but the defense will push for 2. So he still might get some time. October 30th? Okay, that's what they said. Oof, got a long time to go. So much can happen. There's a lot of people out there, too. Diddy denied. Oh, man. Not Diddy. Finally. Let me see. I have... Do I have notifications? I don't have any notifications till later. Oh, no, wait. I might have one. Let me check. I think we should save it for whatever happens today. Oh, I'll have one in an hour. Less than an hour. Okay. I wanted to do the update on this. I guess I'll collect information as far as this fireworks situation. About the missing people. I found some stuff too. Layla had sent me stuff and I found some stuff. Unless you just want to do it now, we could transfer and do it now.
It just...
Press conference, wasn't there? Yeah, there was a press conference. We could do this. We could do this. You guys want to do another bail was denied? Yeah, bail was denied. We can continue the last night stuff, see the aftermath. Let's see. Do an update. If people care about it, let's just do it now. Yeah. Oh, that was last night.
Guys, everybody, keep double tapping. Let's reach 50K at least real quick, or 100K. And keep on sharing, keep double tapping. I appreciate you guys for the gives, the follows, and all that. Make sure you guys also subscribe to the page if you guys haven't subscribed yet. Make sure you guys take a second and subscribe to the page, guys. I appreciate it.
So we just renovated.
Yeah, no Diddy party tonight. No Diddy party tonight. They did have like a little mini oil baby oil party out here earlier, but the police removed them here. There was literally people over here throwing baby oil over their body and dancing and making noise and jumping and all that stuff. And the police officers removed them.
You can bring here live, you can make live.
Past 7 weeks. I'm just thinking
Diddy.
That guy's there.
All right, I'm going to transfer you guys. We're about to get started, okay?